Hello, friendos! My name is Nez, and today we're going to be reviewing Perish in Frost, episode 13. Just gonna say it straight up, friendos. This episode was peak. It was peak! It was peak! So, starting it off with the spoiler-free segment, I enjoyed this episode. I feel like this is now my favorite episode since the Frost Nova episode in episode 10. I was genuinely beginning to doubt if Perish in Frost could reach the same peaks that episode 10 did, because episode 10 was clearly directed by a veteran director. I assumed that it was directed by Yuki Watanabe. I've read comments online that the last two episodes, the one that clearly had drops in quality, they were directed by other directors, but not the veteran ones that we know. So this episode was directed by Masaki Nishikawa. We know his works from episode 8, Roar and Flame, Nyan's event PV. He also did Granny's event PV. We've already seen his work. Masaki Nishikawa definitely carried this episode, and it was definitely needed considering the fast pace the last two episodes had. But here it started a bit slower, and then as it kept ramping up and up and up, the tension just kept going until the very end where it climaxed, and the moment that ending song dropped, I got chills. My vocabulary is failing me right now. I very much enjoy this episode. Masaki Nishikawa ran it out of the park. The one credited for being the sound director of Perish in Frost is Yuki Watanabe, so I'm gonna assume that he directed the sound for this episode. Every single time that man lets loose, it's peak. It's just peak. But so far, amazing episode overall. Definitely my favorite episode now. And yeah, that should be it for our spoiler-free segment. So we start out the episode with Reunion on the back foot after getting dropped by Chen and Blaze last episode. Mephisto definitely breaking down. That kid is definitely broken in many ways. Because they're in danger, they have to leave Lungmen. All the Reunion members in Lungmen have been suppressed by the LGD and Rhodes Island. Faust has to take the reins because Mephisto, he's gonna do anything to try to get him and Faust out of Lungmen, and he's not gonna care about any of the other Reunion members. So after that opening scene, we got a shot of Blaze! We got more scenes with Blaze! Honestly, this episode did a better introduction to Blaze than last episode. We first see her on top of the roof, just scouting the place, dropping down in front of a squad of Reunion, easily taking them out by having them surrender, threatening them that she could boil their throats if she wanted to. Blaze is an elite operator of Rhodes Island. She is a one-woman army. She took out a bunch of Reunion members on her own. And then we got Amiya back, and the Doctor is back, and we also have Greythroat. But before that, we got some Amiya and Blaze cuddles. She's sort of the bigger older sister of Rhodes Island. She loves doting on Amiya, and a certain character we'll probably get into in season 3. So we got that cute introduction. We got an introduction to Greythroat. Greythroat went to patrol the other way, while Blaze went her own way. Doctor kinda sensing that there's a bit of tension between the two of them, and Amiya just asked them to go along with Blaze. As if Doctor could back up Blaze. What would he even do? No, Amiya just told him to go to Blaze to, feel things out, to get to know Blaze better, and probably their relationship with Greythroat. After that, we got a scene with the LGD in the slums. The LGD is doing just fine, neutralizing Reunion. So Blaze and Doctor find the group of Reunion members. Blaze easily took them out, but there was an LGD guy all alone with his crossbow that pointed it at Blaze. So even in this crucial moment, the guy's life was saved by an infected. He still had the gall to be discriminatory towards Blaze, and Blaze just took it in stride. It is what it is. No matter what, the infected still have a double standard towards them, even if they're on the same side as the LGD. Rhodes Island will definitely emphasize that they're not there to kill Reunion. Amiya even had to tell Greythroat they're not there to kill Reunion, they're there to help the infected. And Reunion, most of all, are just people of desperate infected that are just lashing out against the world. Glad to see some Doctor fan service, because everyone has their own interpretation of how their Doctor feels and acts like. The Doctor in the anime seems more grounded, more level-headed, so it's very fun to see them get into comedic moments every once in a while. So Mephisto and his zombie herd, they're starting to make a ruckus. Mephisto getting desperate as fuck, trying to get him and Faust out of Lungmen, no matter what. So Mephisto's sprouting the seeds that he put in various Reunion members, just making them into zombies that he can't control anymore, that are beginning to attack his own Reunion squad. So he's losing it. Faust is there to take the reins away from him. And then we got another scene with the slums. The infected in the slums are gone. what's going on here? So either they were killed by the zombie herd or something's been taking them out. Then she found a man in a black raincoat just standing there on the rooftop. They're in a group. It's a whole organization of them. And apparently they've been dealing with the infected in Lungmen, in the slums of Lungmen. And Chen has no idea who they are. And then we had a confrontation between Greythroat and Faust. It's a very interesting scene on Greythroat's part, because we still don't have a solid introduction for Greythroat and what she believes in yet. With Faust, they can't really escape their fate as infected people. It's either kill or be killed for them. They're infected no matter what. We saw a while ago, the LGD guy with the crossbow still threatened Blaze even though she saved him. Is it kill or be killed for the infected, or is there another way with Rhodes Island? Swire calls up Lynn, our first introduction to the Rat Princess of Lungmen. We also got a little tease towards the Rat King. Lynn just straight up admitted it. She just admitted that the Black Cloaks are under her supervision or under her command, and they've been directed to eliminate the infected from the slums. No holds barred, every single infected. Not just reunion members, even normal civilians, normal people. So this is a lot more blunt and in your face than in the actual source material. In the game, it was a lot more vague on whether or not Lynn directly ordered the Black Cloaks, but here it's a lot more blunt and straight up. I'm not sure what to feel about this. I got mixed feelings because Lynn now has ties with Rhodes Island in the game, and yet she was directly responsible for the death of innocent infecteds in this arc, when it was a lot more vague in the game, so we could at least cope that maybe Lynn's not that bad. Oh no, Lynn was that bad. So there's that to think about. And then we come back to a scene with Mephisto childishly wilding out because Faust is planning to give himself up as bait so that the rest of his squad could escape with Mephisto. But Faust, he's already been using his arts to save various reunion members from Mephisto's own zombies. So technically, it is Mephisto's fault that Faust has to do this because Faust has to fight a two-front battle between the LGD and the zombies. So Reunion tries to make their grand escape. The music is once again swelling. Yuki Watanabe popping off as sound director. They're making their way through a road, being chased down by dozens of Reunion zombies. Faust shoots an elevated highway just to give them enough time to say goodbye to each other. Mephisto being carried by one of Faust's archers, struggling wildly to exclaim that they were supposed to leave together. They were supposed to protect each other for all time's sake. And then we got a bunch of flashbacks throughout this episode of their previous life together before they became part of Reunion. Somewhere along the way, Mephisto got infected, but this is their final goodbye in current day. Faust had to use the last bit of his life force to use his arts, because just as Mephisto was screaming at the top of his lungs for Faust and him to make a getaway together, he was silenced. And they managed to get away. The zombies climbing over the highway, they were starting to break through. Faust now dropping his reunion gear. I think that was very metaphorical. He dropped his reunion gear, and at that moment he was no longer reunion. He was just a scared boy. He dropped everything and just held on to his crossbow so he could run without any weight. He kept running and running, and then he got surrounded by the LGD. There was no way around it. One side were the zombies and one side were the LGD, and it was the end for him. And the LGD, they fired 1,000 arrows up at Faust. He pointed up his crossbow, he was about to fire, but he wavered and just accepted it. And then end credits starts, and I was screaming. I was like, peak, peak. The episode was peak! The pacing was masterfully done. The music, it was getting tense and tenser up until the climax where it masterfully cuts into the end credits where we have an updated version of the ending song with Reunion members mourning the loss of Faust. It was amazing. It was amazing. This episode was peak. Masaki Nishikawa, bravo, well done. This episode was great. Episode 13 of Perish in Frost. I didn't think that we could reach the peaks of episode 10 anymore. I thought the quality was gonna taper all the way to the end, but nope. The budget was saved for this episode, and Copium, please. Yostar Pictures, Copium, keep the ball rolling until the climax. And that should be it. That's all I have to say. I enjoyed it. It's my new favorite episode of, actually, both seasons 1 and 2 of the Arknights anime. I was very impressed. I hope the ball keeps rolling up until the finale of this arc. Anyway, if you guys have any comments about the episode, put them down below.